Darkness. Your flashlight dies at the 200-meter mark inside the cave. The silence here isn't just absence of sound. It's thick, pressing on your eardrums like water pressure. Then you hear it, a rhythmic pulse, like breathing. Welcome to China, where mountains don't just stand, they dream. China has long been known as the homeland of some of the most majestic mountains in Asia. Some peaks remain veiled in clouds all year, creating dreamlike scenes that seem almost unreal. Others rise as sheer cliffs above green valleys, celebrated for centuries in poetry and painting. These mountains are not only breathtaking landscapes, but also symbols of China's history, culture, and spirituality. In this journey, we will explore the most beautiful mountains of northern and central China, natural wonders that continue to astonish the world. And some that still refuse to be fully understood. Daru Mountain. There's a place where the earth stacks itself like pages in a book. If you know how to read stone, you can trace the story back 200 million years. The landscape of Daru Mountain features continuous limestone ridges, forming distinct layered terrain around deep valleys and natural lakes nestled between rock outcrops. With an average elevation of about 4,200 feet. The mountain displays clear elevation shifts from gentle lower slopes to steep central cliffs. Each layer tells a story, a different ocean, a different world entirely. Small waterfalls and underground streams run along the slopes. Especially active during the rainy season when water flow increases and mist covers many of the paths. The sound of water here is constant, threading through stone corridors that have never seen sunlight. Vegetation grows on both soil and rock surfaces, with ancient mosses, lichens, and moisture-loving plants clinging to vertical stone walls. Some of these mosses are older than most trees. Their root systems boring into limestone, reshaping mountains one cell at a time. Daru Mountain has preserved its natural topography, representing a high-value example of intact limestone mountain scenery. But what captivates researchers is the precision of its layering. The strata are so perfectly horizontal, so mathematically even, that some geologists initially refused to believe they were natural. They looked designed, intentional. As if something beneath the earth wanted to create steps, or perhaps a throne. Wahuang Palace. Imagine a temple built on a cliff so steep that architects had to suspend themselves on ropes just to carve the foundation. Wahuang Palace is an ancient temple complex built on a steep limestone mountainside, known for its rare location, with its back to a high cliff and its front facing a wide valley. The site was built to worship Nuwa, the legendary figure believed to have patched the sky and created humans in Chinese mythology. But here's the question no one asks. Why build a temple in a place where no temple should survive? The area around the temple is covered by dense forest and many oddly shaped natural rock formations, giving it a majestic and ancient atmosphere. It feels less like worship and more like communion with something older than gods. Behind the main hall, dozens of ancient stone carvings are directly etched into the mountain walls, showing cultural symbols and images linked to the Nuwa legend. These aren't merely decorative, they're protective. Tourists can climb the ancient stone paths to the shrine, admire the old stone carvings, and join activities like traditional rituals. Writing on stone tablets or listening to folklore stories to better understand the local beliefs. But at night, when the crowds leave, temple keepers report something else. A sound like fabric tearing, coming from the cliffs above. Local elders say it's Nuwa, still mending the sky. Still patching holes that appear when humans forget their origin. The sound stops at dawn, every time. Yasano National Park. From sacred heights, we descend into the Earth's violent architecture. Yasano National Park has a rare transitional landscape between limestone mountains and deep river valleys, forming multi-level scenery in northern China. Steep, tower-shaped peaks interlace with narrow basins, where erosion has carved deep gorges, cliffs, and dramatic waterfalls. The geology here is violent, chaotic, beautiful, in the way that broken bones can be beautiful when they heal into new shapes. Some zones in the park have yielded fossilized ancient plants, adding to the area's geological and biological research value. These fossils don't just tell us what grew here millions of years ago. They tell us what survived, what adapted, what refused to die. Yasano stands out not just for its scenery, but for its exceptional geological and ecological diversity, making it a perfect destination for nature explorers. But there's something else that draws people here. In certain valleys, at certain times of year, the wind passing through the gorges creates a sound identical to human singing. Not random noise, structured melody. Scientists have recorded it, analyzed the frequencies. Found patterns that shouldn't exist in natural wind. No one has explained it. Most have stopped trying. Yunu Mountain. There are mountains that hide, and then there are mountains that reveal themselves only when they choose. Yunu Mountain is known for its flat peaks, which resemble giant stone platforms rising above layers of white clouds, creating a rare landscape in China's mountainous regions. The area is densely covered in forest with diverse plant life, including many trees that grow directly on vertical cliffs, forming a thick canopy over the ecosystem. These trees shouldn't survive. The soil is too thin, the water too scarce, yet they thrive, their roots boring into solid rock. Splitting limestone atom by atom, drinking moisture from clouds that never touch the ground. Accessing this area is relatively difficult, since most paths are forest trails. With many sections skirting narrow rock edges, steep slopes, and sometimes disappearing under thick vegetation. The trails don't just fade away. Locals say they move. A strange phenomenon often reported by locals and travelers is the appearance of blue lights inside deep caves at night. With no visible source, sometimes moving gently, like living organisms. Many people have also heard soft sounds like wind chimes coming from mountain gaps when fog rolls in. A phenomenon called singing clouds that has no confirmed scientific explanation. In 2011, a geological survey team spent 3 nights in the caves trying to document the lights. Their equipment failed. All of it, cameras, sensors, even watches, stopped at exactly 11:47 p.m. each night. On the 3rd night, they left. The team leader's report included a single sentence, not found in any official record. Some places don't want to be measured. Some of the flat stone surfaces at the top of the peaks are almost perfectly symmetrical, showing no signs of carving. leading researchers to suspect they were shaped by extremely rare or unknown geological activity. The symmetry is too perfect. Nature doesn't work this way, or so we thought. Mount Wutai. The most recognizable feature of Mount Wutai is its 5 flat-topped peaks arranged in a plum blossom shape. Each averaging over 9,800 feet high, with the tallest often covered in snow year-round. These aren't just peaks, they're platforms. Large green meadows mixed with pine forests and flowing streams create a fresh and expansive setting that attracts visitors for rest and reflection. But the monks who've lived here for centuries don't come for rest, they come to listen. Although not far from populated areas, the winding roads, fast-changing weather, and thick fog make the journey challenging. The mountain doesn't welcome everyone. It chooses a strange phenomenon often mentioned is a floating blue light appearing at night, or deep footprints in the rock without any sign of people nearby. Stories of circular glowing lights moving across the sky have also been reported, especially on bright moonlit nights. In 1987, 12 monks reported seeing the same light simultaneously from different peaks. When they compared notes, they realized something impossible. Each monk saw the light in a different location, at the exact same moment. The mountain is so quiet that one can clearly hear the wind blowing through the pines and footsteps echoing across the open grasslands. This silence is not peaceful, it's expectant. The symmetrical landscape and mysterious phenomena make this place not just a natural destination, but a spiritual space beyond ordinary travel. Even skeptics leave Wutai feeling they've witnessed something, they just can't say what. Hongchi Canal, Taihang Grand Canyon. The Hongchi Canal and Taihang Grand Canyon scenic area combines a man-made irrigation project with towering natural limestone formations. This is where human determination carved through mountain defiance. Taihang Canyon stretches for dozens of miles with vertical cliffs over 1,300 feet high. shaped by geological movements and erosion over millions of years. Its rock layers stack like tiers of a cake, forming a landscape with both scientific and aesthetic value. Each layer is a different age, a different climate, a different world pressing down on the present. Running alongside this is the Hongchi Canal, carved by hand through the mountain cliffs in the 1960s. Extending over 44 miles and symbolizing the determination of local people. "60,000 workers, 10 years, hand tools and dynamite." They moved mountains because they had to. The area also features natural caves, springs, and ancient forests, creating a rich and refreshing ecosystem. But what strikes visitors most is the contrast. Nature spent millions of years creating the canyon. Humans spent 10 years creating the canal. Both defy belief. Both refuse to crumble. Shen, Ancestral Hall. Nestled at the foot of the mountain, the Shen Ancestral Hall area is known as the place where 8 out of 10 houses are shrines. Once home to many noble clans in Chinese history, this peaceful site includes over 100 ancestral halls built from dark wood and blue stone. Connected by winding brick paths, forming a maze of traditional architecture. Curved roof tiles and faded wooden plaques, carved with proverbs, reflect the deep respect for ancestors and the will to preserve family legacy. These aren't monuments, they're promises made to the dead. A tale says that on the mid-autumn full moon night, an old man in blue robes once walked past 3 halls in silence, leaving behind a single stick of incense still burning. It was believed to be an ancestor returning to visit. The incense burned for 3 days, without shortening. When sunlight filters through wooden shutters and dances on mossy brick courtyards, visitors feel the sacred past blending with the quiet present. Time moves differently here, not flashy or loud. The place softly tells stories of family pride, perseverance, and centuries of tradition. and occasionally, the place tells stories back. Workers renovating one hall in 2003 found a letter sealed in a wall beam. It was dated 1823. It began, "To whoever opens this in the future." Chiao family compound. The Chiao family compound resembles a miniature walled fortress with a compact, enclosed layout of stone corridors and defensive walls. Once the home of a wealthy merchant in the late Qing dynasty, it contains over 300 rooms connected by arched walkways, large red wooden gates, and square inner courtyards paved in blue brick. This wasn't just a home, it was a statement of survival. What truly fascinates visitors are the decorative carvings in stone, wood, and brick. Each one tells a story, from ancient parables to moral teachings. But look closer. Some carvings don't match historical records. Symbols that predate the dynasty, patterns that don't appear in any documented art form, hidden in plain sight. Each step through the compound is a journey into the lifestyle, aesthetics, and values of China's traditional elite, and perhaps into their secrets. One courtyard has a well that, according to family records, never went dry during droughts. Geologists have tested it. The water source should have dried up decades ago. It hasn't. They don't know why. Longchuan Ancient Village. Longchuan Ancient Village is known for its harmonious landscape, where stone mountains surround a cluster of well-preserved buildings from the Ming and Qing dynasties. The Longchuan River flows through the village like a soft ribbon, reflecting the curved tile roofs and graceful stone bridges. Over 140 traditional wooden houses remain here, built in the three-section, four-yard style, with intricate carvings and feng shui-based layouts. Every beam placement, every door angle, calculated to channel energy. This village is the birthplace of many scholars, including a famous prime minister, giving it a strong Confucian and clan-based cultural identity. Knowledge was currency here. Wisdom was wealth. A local legend says a mountain near the village once glowed green on full moon nights, believed to be a sign of dragon energy protecting the ancestral line. In 1956, during the Cultural Revolution, Red Guards tried to destroy the superstitious mountain shrine. The next morning, all 15 guards were found unconscious at the mountain's base, unharmed. but unable to remember the previous night. The shrine still stands. With its natural setting, historic architecture, and cultural heritage, Longchuan stands as a prime example of classical Chinese village culture and a reminder, some traditions protect themselves. Guifong Scenic Area. Guifong Scenic Area stands out with 36 sandstone peaks shaped like giant turtles lifting their heads above the ground. Vertical cliffs, caves, and scattered vegetation form a majestic yet rustic landscape, highlighted by the red tones of Danxia geology. These aren't erosion accidents. The shapes are too specific, too deliberate. A local legend says that at the famous three-layer turtle peak, 3 baby turtles were the offspring of a divine sea turtle and turned to stone while searching for their mother. The region's geology dates back about 135 million years, with Danxia sandstone eroding to create turtle shapes, stone walls, sheer cliffs, and rich vegetation. But here's what the legend doesn't mention. In 1974, during an earthquake, one of the turtle heads shifted, just slightly, maybe 3 inches. Geologists examined it. The rock wasn't fractured. It wasn't loose. It shouldn't have moved at all. Yet every old photograph shows it in a different position. Guifong differs from typical natural mountains by combining unique Danxia formations, layered turtle symbolism, and sacred legend, offering a scene that is both spectacular and culturally deep. This place attracts visitors not only for its magical natural beauty, but also for the mythical stories tied to the rocks. And for the question that hangs in the air, if they're still moving, are they still alive? Taining Global Geopark. Taining Global Geopark features ancient red sandstone formations created millions of years ago, forming rare, vertical, narrow, and curved rock ridges. The area is known for its deep canyons, steep cliffs, and U-shaped valleys, showcasing clear signs of erosion and geological movement. This is where the earth cracked open and never healed. Natural lakes lie between the rocky valleys, their calm surfaces reflecting the towering cliffs and creating a striking visual scene. The water here is impossibly still, like glass poured between stone. Besides its geological value, the park also preserves ancient wooden structures hidden among the forested mountains. These structures weren't built for living, they were built for watching. Watching what? No one remembers, with its unique red rock formations, historic relics, and mysterious tales. Taining is a key site in the global geopark network, but it's also something else. In certain canyons, compasses spin. Cell phones lose signal. Birds refuse to fly overhead. Local guides know which paths to avoid. They just won't tell you why. Shanzu Mountain. The first thing that stuns anyone arriving at Shanzu Mountain is the towering white stone walls rising into the sky, marked by bold veins like nature's time-stamped carvings. The mountain's geology is composed of extremely rare white sandstone, forming hundreds of massive rock blocks shaped like towers, blades, or tilted slabs along the slopes. At dawn and dusk, light reflects off the rock faces, making the mountainside gleam with silver brilliance. As if the landscape itself is breathing and shifting. Clinging to cliffs hundreds of feet high, a transparent glass walkway lets visitors step above deep gorges, surrounded by wind and drifting fog. Your stomach drops, your knees weaken. This is not a tourist attraction. This is a test. Plant life clings to the stone cracks. Short, thick-leaved species with strange forms creating vivid green patches in the midst of cold, pale rock. These plants have adapted to survive on almost nothing. Just wind, just mist, just stubbornness. Rarely mentioned on travel maps, Shanzu remains quietly hidden, like a sacred realm yet to be fully revealed by mankind. And perhaps there's a reason it stays hidden. In 2015, a drone survey captured something unusual. At certain angles, when sunlight hits the white stone just right, the entire mountain face looks like a face. Eyes, nose, mouth. Not carved, not sculpted, just there. The footage was never officially released. Arkan Shaiha. The most unique feature of Arkan Mountain and Shaiha River is the rare landscape shaped by ancient volcanic activity and untouched forests and grasslands. The extinct craters here have become deep valleys and perfectly round lakes, with green water lying quietly inside black basalt basins. These lakes are too round, too perfect. Clear streams flow gently over rock slopes, passing through waterfalls and narrow gorges, creating natural echoes in the forest. In autumn, the entire area lights up with red and yellow leaves, reflected on the still lake surface, forming a picturesque scene. But beauty here comes with a price. A local legend tells of a creature called the sacred spirit beast that appears when people try to disrupt the forest's balance. In 1998, a logging company sent workers to clear trees near the largest crater lake. On the third day, every chainsaw broke. Simultaneously, on the fifth day, the workers left. They wouldn't say why. But none of them ever came back. Today, visitors can enjoy soaking in hot springs in the wild, hiking through birch forests, or riding slow tourist trains, weaving through the mountains to fully experience the untouched and majestic beauty of this rare region. The springs here are naturally heated by volcanic chambers deep below. The water is perfect, always. Some say the mountain is still warm because it's still alive. Wang Shan leaves a lasting impression with its towering granite peaks, wind-sculpted pine trees, an endless sea of clouds that together form a majestic and otherworldly scene. With more than 70 peaks, over 3,300 feet high, the mountain is known for rock formations resembling dragons, mushrooms, or meditating figures shaped by millions of years of erosion. Each formation has a name. Each name has a story. Pine trees grow out of cliffs with barely any soil, their roots gripping the stone and bending with the wind, becoming a living symbol of resilience against harsh nature. These trees are over 800 years old, some over 1,000. They've watched dynasties rise and fall from their stone perches. The sea of clouds appears year-round, making the peaks look as if they are floating in mid-air, creating a surreal spatial illusion. At certain hours, you can't tell where stone ends and cloud begins. Solid becomes vapor, vapor becomes solid. Ancient texts record Wang Shan as a sacred retreat for Taoist practitioners since the Tang dynasty, with relics such as alchemy tables and carved stone steps still visible today. Today, visitors come not only to admire the view, but to feel the humbling presence of stone giants towering above the clouds. But there's something else people feel here, a presence. Monks who meditate at the summit report the same experience. After 3 days of silence, they begin to hear thoughts, not their own, not threatening, not malevolent, just there. As if the mountain has been thinking for a very long time, and occasionally it shares. Tanju Mountain. What makes Tanju Mountain truly special is a natural stone pillar over 470 feet tall that rises straight into the sky, standing firm in a majestic mountainous landscape. This isn't a mountain with a pillar. This is a pillar that became a mountain. Surrounding it are granite peaks, shaped by erosion into strange forms like stone bells, lotus pedestals, and heavenly gates. According to ancient texts, this was once believed to be a place where celestial energy gathered. Attracting Taoist hermits and monks who left behind relics like stone platforms, meditation caves, and hand-laid terraces. They didn't build randomly. Every structure aligns with the pillar. A puzzling natural phenomenon occurs here. When wind passes through certain mountain gaps, it creates long, bell-like echoes throughout the valley. Not random echoes, tones, musical tones. On days with low clouds, thick mist covers the area, leaving only the pillar visible like a sacred mark suspended between earth and sky. Pilots flying over report seeing it from 40 miles away. A finger of stone pointing at heaven. Tanju Mountain is not only a marvel of rock formations, but also a sacred space tied to ancient beliefs and unexplained natural wonders. And here's what no one talks about. The pillar is growing. Measurements taken in 1956, 1982, and 2019 show slight increases. Millimeters per decade. Granite doesn't grow. Geologists have no explanation, but the pillar doesn't care about explanations. Mingju Mountain. Mingju Mountain stands out with high peaks and natural hot springs flowing through rock crevices, forming soaking spots in the forest without human treatment. The peaks here average about 5,200 feet in height and are surrounded by subtropical forests filled with medicinal plants, ancient ferns, and seasonal wildflowers. This mountain heals, not metaphorically, literally. In the past, many Taoist practitioners came here to meditate and restore health because of the peaceful terrain, stable climate, and healing hot springs. Records from the Tang dynasty mention monks living to 110, 120, even 130 years. Impossible ages for that era, yet documented by imperial physicians. Visitors can hike forest trails that lead to waterfalls, cliffs, and old meditation sites. Soaking in hot springs, watching the moon rise through the mist, and joining peace rituals are popular experiences at Mingju Mountain. But the springs do something else, something unexplained. Chemical analysis shows nothing unusual. Standard mineral content, normal pH levels. Yet people who bathe here report the same thing: dreams, vivid, lucid dreams that feel more real than waking life. Dreams of flying, of breathing underwater, of conversations with people long dead. Scientists have studied it. Sleep researchers have monitored brainwaves. The dreams are real. REM patterns confirm it. They just don't know why the mountain gives them. Mount Sanqing. Mount Sanqing is a vivid natural landscape with over 200 granite peaks, each shaped like a person, animal, stone bell, or sword rising into the sky. The average height of the peaks is about 5,900 feet, often covered in thick mist that shifts with the sunlight throughout the day. This is where stone dreams itself into life. The three main peaks are named after the top Taoist gods and have long been honored as sacred symbols. A legend says that on clear days, people at the highest point can see 3 blue rays of light coming from the peaks, seen as a heavenly sign. In 2008, 17 hikers witnessed it simultaneously. All 17 recorded it on video. The footage shows 3 distinct beams, lasting exactly 11 seconds. Atmospheric scientists reviewed it, called it a rare optical phenomenon, but couldn't replicate it, couldn't explain the timing, couldn't explain why it only happens here. Besides spiritual value, the mountain draws visitors with glass paths along cliffs that reveal wide cloud seas and strangely shaped rock formations. Mount Sanqing combines unique scenery, ancient legends, and meaningful cultural exploration in one destination. But as you stand on those glass paths, looking down through 1,000 feet of nothing, you realize something. The mountain isn't just beautiful, it's watching. Every peak, every stone formation, every ancient pine. All angled toward the center, toward the 3 sacred peaks, as if everything here is bowing or waiting for something that hasn't arrived yet. These 17 locations form the foundation of China's northern mystery. Limestone cathedrals carved by water and time, temples clinging to cliffs that defy physics, forests that sing, mountains that breathe. But this is just the beginning. We've walked the layered terraces of ancient stone. We've heard the wind chimes that have no source. We've seen lights that science cannot explain. Now we journey deeper into the southwest, where snow-capped peaks pierce the heavens, where grasslands stretch beyond the horizon's curve, where the earth itself tears open to reveal secrets buried since the world was young. The mountains of the north whisper, the mountains of the southwest scream, and some of them have names we're afraid to speak aloud.